All right, so welcome to Obviously It's Fake the podcast. I'm Kathryn Doherty,
I'm Chelsea Potts.
and with us today is Brendan Conklin.
The one and only.
Welcome, Brendan.
Thanks for having me.
We're very excited that you're here today.
I'm very excited to be here.
It's a real treat. Brendan is a history buff and a lover of today's topic.
Yeah. The JFK Assassination.
Sounds so official, doesn't it? Assassination, not like murder.
Isn't it like a really nice sounding word? I mean, it's terrible, but like
Sure.
assassination.
Yeah, it's like espionage,
Yeah.
right?
Talked about this before. Lingerie and espionage.
Lingerie, espionage, assassination, like it's like sexy government words. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Sexy government words. All right. So before we get into probably like the biggest topic we've ever covered, and probably something that no doubt at least 12 people will immediately email us and tell us that we did incorrectly. How are you doing, Chelsea Potts?
I'm okay. Life's a little cray with everything going on in my life, but like not bad. It's just I just got a lot of stuff happening all at once, and the balance of it all. It's a fun challenge during semi-still quarantine.
I feel like that was like such a professional kind of like licensed clinical social worker way to say that you are fucking freaking out and you're
So, yeah.
we're lucky that you showed up to this podcast recording.
No. You know how it goes when you're planning your nups and trying to get everything
in your nuts.
Getting down to the wire, and
It is getting down to the wire.
Life's roller coaster of fun.
We're gonna have to edit that together so that she sounds happier.
I'm sure this will be like one of the things that you say you're going to edit, but that don't.
We do that a lot.
Brendan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, then these two ladies for so long, I'm not going to figure out because I can't even do that math right now. Yeah, big history fan of the podcast. Conspiracy theories are really interesting and how people get into them and how they evolve and spread and how they influence culture.
It's such a fun topic, you're
Yeah.
right.
It is. I think too, the way that some people put some of this stuff together. The one theory that I really will talk about, some guys go as far as like recreate the entire thing on like a miniature scale.
This is like, this is the biggest, this is like when the words conspiracy theorist became like big in America, like in the United States.
Absolutely.
It's so crazy. But I love conspiracy theories from this time, like from this era in history, because the government was fucking wild.
Yeah.
They did not give a shit.
They're wild. The conspiracy theories are wild. The plots are crazy. It's like out of a James Bond movie.
Like we look around today and we're like, yo, Donald Trump does not give a shit. Like his administration like does not give a shit. But like that's nothing. Like they didn't give a shit back then either. They were doing crazy stuff. They just were a little bit more polished.
Yeah.
Like they got away with so much too, because like there were documents that were never found for all kinds of different crimes.
Or destroyed or go missing.
Yeah.
People disappear.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever going to know. I feel like what really went down.
Oh, no. Not now.
Nobody's ever going to know.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Exactly. Everybody dies. Time goes by and everybody dies. You know what? They put release dates.
It's a fucking circle of life, man. You're absolutely right, Chelsea Potts. Everybody is gonna die. Fuck it.
Look, what I'm saying is they put the time limits on these documents, right? We were talking about the MLK documents. They're not slated to release until 2027.
Dude,
So
totally.
most of the people that have been involved in that.
When are these ones gonna get released? Like 2039 or some shit?
I mean, a lot of them
Trump
have been
released,
released, but
like,
a
a
lot of them are
bunch.
still classified.
Trump released a bunch of them, but they were
Yeah.
all like super redacted.
Yeah, they were.
And that's the
heavily
thing.
redacted.
What's in there that we can't see?
Exactly.
Well, all right.
Communists. Fucking communists. Communists. They did everything in the name of communism. I love it. It was like their blanket excuse to just like fuck
Yep.
shit up.
Just
It's
communism.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's fucking communism. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Basically.
Invading countries, communism.
Communism.
Killing people.
We had to stop communism. Relax. You don't get it, obviously. It's communism. I heard, speaking of communism, so I was listening to Power and Consequence, which is a pretty good podcast. I definitely highly recommend it. And one of the hosts there, Anna, was talking about how Antifa is like the new communism, where like certain members of and I thought it was funny because I feel like conservatives would say the exact opposite, that like certain members of the government are just like slapping Antifa onto certain things to make it scary. And like that's true. I do feel like that is definitely true.
Absolutely.
Like, Black Lives Matter, it's fucking Antifa.
Yeah.
Antifa did it.
Yeah.
Siege on the Capitol. It was Antifa. It was Antifa.
Yep. Stole the election.
Antifa.
So are they like the new Illuminati? Is what they're saying?
Chelsea, stop.
It's like that's what it's evolving into.
Stop it.
Give it another
Chelsea.
year.
You don't know what Antifa is? I can't. We're gonna have to cut that out. We can't put this to print with
Illuminati.
Antifa is like it's
They're anti-fascists.
yeah.
Generally kind of like anarchists.
They're like so they're like the far left as opposed to the far right. So a lot of people think that they're like make believe. I don't know.
I know people in Antifa.
You know people in Antifa?
I met a few people in Antifa in the summer.
Cool. What were they like?
Interesting.
I bet they were. Were they like really mad?
No, actually, they were real chill. But we were just like smoking on the beach and kind of hanging out. So it wasn't like a.
I've never heard anybody be like, yeah, I'm definitely an Antifa before.
Well, it came out with this one guy. We started talking, and he was talking about he was heading to Kenosha like that the next week, like during the riots there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what does he do?
I mean, he was like.
He's just like I was.
He was unemployed because he's like an artist, an actor, like kind of stuff, and just a musician. So he wasn't really working this summer, just getting unemployment, and so he was just going from.
You can't blame that on the summer.
Huh?
I said you can't blame that on the summer.
No, COVID. So he wasn't working all summer. So
I'm just surprised that somebody was like, "Yeah, I'm Antifa," and like identified themselves that way. You know what I mean?
He said he mostly did what do they call it? Taking care of hurt people.
Okay.
So that's what some of them do too. Like they're all different things. Like some of them will fuck shit up.
Mm-hmm.
Some will just like protect Black Lives Matter protesters.
Right.
Because they're not. It's not like one organization. There's just each group is different.
They're like little groups, small groups.
Yeah. So he,
Oh my God, I would love to have somebody like that on the podcast.
That'd be cool.
I don't know. Like maybe. Okay.
Chelsea, don't get all anti-Antifa on me.
They're the good guys.
Antifa.
Anything that's far
communist
thing, I feel like it's a little bit scary. Left or right, or just a little far of center. I don't know.
Too far center? Too exactly in the middle, you can't trust. Anything too far left, you can't trust. Too far right, you can't trust.
Yeah.
And you definitely can't be in the center.
I need like
that's the worst.
You have to be the middle of one side.
I'm not sure. I can't classify myself as one or the other. I don't think it's a fair question, honestly.
Oh, Chelsea.
I asked myself.
Yeah, dude. Brendan, I feel like you always know like the good podcasts and the good shit.
I listen because that's all I do all day. I work.
I
It's listen to
know.
podcasts and Audible books. Yeah. I mean, what are you looking for?
What do you listen? What would you recommend to the people?
I like Red Scare a lot. They're like
Red
an
Scare?
arts and culture politics podcast.
Cool,
and
cool,
the
cool.
two hosts are these two chicks. They're like immigrants one's from like the Soviet Union. Like
Cool.
she was born in the Soviet Union and her family left in like
Mm-hmm.
the 90s.
Okay.
And the
So
other chick's
she's got a
Belarus.
unique perspective.
Yeah. And they're really smart.
Love it.
They're
Red
fun.
Scare.
That's a good one.
Chelsea Potts, what are you doing? What are you listening to, bitch? What are you watching?
What am I listening to or watching? Well, right now I'm watching 11/22/63 on Hulu.
What is that?
It's really good.
Isn't that the day that JFK died?
Oh. How's it?
It's the day who died?
I said the music. JFK, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Yeah, so it's about, apparently Stephen King wrote like a fan fiction, I guess, on like
fan fiction.
If somebody went back in time and tried to stop JFK from getting assassinated. And
cool.
James Franco plays the guy who goes back to 1960, and he has to stay there for 3 years and try not to interact with Lee Harvey Oswald and but surveil him and try to take him out before he gets to JFK. Like, he has to try to make sure he follows all the conspiracies. It's
so they think that Lee Harvey Oswald did it
right now. Yeah,
it'd be cool if they throw a twist in there and be like,
right,
oh,
if they start subscribing to
that'd be an interesting way to
conspiracy theory,
kind of expose some of that stuff to the public.
Well, right now he's trying to confirm that Oswald was working alone, and he wasn't 100% sure of that at first. So it's a pretty good show. It's, I haven't gotten too far into it, but it's good if you'd like to expand your mind.
Have either of you watched JFK by Oliver Stone?
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes.
I watched half. I watched it a long time ago. I rewatched it half of it.
It is really good when he's in the courtroom and he's up and from the back, up and from the back, up and from the back. Yeah, when I was watching it with Ian, and Ian was like, "Well, there you go, dude, fucking said it."
Case closed.
Just moving on. No, there's so much that goes into this. It's not even funny.
Dude, all right, Chelsea Potts.
I'm so excited and I'm pumped.
Oh, Chelsea. All right, let's get into it. Why don't you take us through the fucking how do we want to start?
I'm gonna take you on a journey, my friends.
I'm ready.
A journey that knows no end. Well, hopefully it does. So, okay. I guess we want to start with, so he was in JFK, the president.
Maybe you've heard of him.
Maybe
President.
35.
1963, he's doing his campaign rallies for his campaign coming up to re-election or whatever. So he's in Texas.
Word.
And he gets to Dallas, right? And he's doing this tour or whatever. Funnily enough, they had the option to have a clear hood on the car that day. They were worried about weather, and they wanted the people.
Yeah, the little Pope bubble.
Yeah, kind of like a Pope mobile, if you will. But the weather was clear enough that they opted not to use it. So at any rate.
Well, JFK didn't want to use it, right? Wasn't he against that? He wanted to be able to wave to the people.
No, I heard that was a rumor.
That was a rumor.
It's not true.
Really?
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
It was LBJ. The whole fucking time.
Who else had that much motive?
Opportunity, motive. I mean,
yeah.
He's a huge opportunist.
He's a scumbag.
Well, I mean, okay.
He is a fucking
He
scumbag.
really is. He's right up there with Trump, honestly. He was gross. He's a pig.
So we get to, there's this motorcade. He's in it. He's in this badass car, I guess. It's from the time. But for us looking at it, it looks really badass, right? It's oh, look at that cool old car.
But
like,
back then it was
I think it was a Cadillac.
yeah, like it was
The
nice. So there's a couple areas of opportunity that this all could have played out, right? The one most famous is the book depository, right? The Texas book depository.
When you say areas of opportunity, do you mean like for the shooter?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel you.
If you're looking at a picture of Dealey Plaza, and there's like a million pictures on the internet of Dealey Plaza, you got the grassy knoll, right? You have the book depository. You have that little like fence area. I think it was like a little bit behind the grassy knoll. I'm not 100% sure.
Right, the overpass.
You have the overpass, and then you have the ground. Really, I mean, right, kind of surrounding him, and like the other cars and the people. So that's kind of where my theory is, or not my theory, but the theory that I looked into the most. That's where mine's going to go. It's more or less the people on the ground.
Yeah, what was interesting about where it happened was that was like the ideal spot to kill the president if that's what you were going to do, because right after the plaza, the caravan had to make a sharp turn, so they had to slow down right at that spot.
That's some calculation.
Right, like that was planned ahead, you know.
Yeah. I mean, this definitely wasn't like a let me take my rifle to work and see if I could take the president out.
Right.
This is definitely a calculated situation.
And the other thing about that is that wasn't the original route of the parade or whatever.
Right.
It was changed a few days ahead of time to go past the depository.
I wonder why.
It's interesting, right?
It is.
Coincidence.
Chelsea Potts, it's on you. You're the captain of the ship.
Damn right I am. The Starship Enterprise. We're going to dive right in. November 22nd, 1963.
What day of the week was it?
I don't know, but it was around 12:30 p.m. It was around 12:30 p.m. that the fateful first shots rang out. Now, if you look at the Zapruder film, Zapruder, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly.
You are.
There are police to the back left, right? And once the shots are fired, both policemen, they're on motorcycles, they both turn their heads to like the far right. So it's almost as if they felt like they heard the sounds come from the grassy knoll. I think the sounds ricocheted from the ground, and I'm going to tell you why. Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you sitting down? I think you are. You are. Okay.
Yeah, we're okay.
Break it down.
So I think the shot that killed the president came from the car that was behind him, and it was a Secret Serviceman, and it was an accident.
That's a whole new theory.
That's not a whole new theory. That's one of the
theories.
I
never heard
theory,
that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People have seen that?
Well, here's the thing, right? So the Warren Commission comes about. So all right, I'm jumping ahead as
so it's people think that it's like a cover up, like this Secret Service agent was like responding to the shot.
Oh.
And did the fatal shot. You know how it's like it because it comes this way and then he goes this way. That was the secret.
Well, no, he comes forward and then he gets hit like in the back and then he
explodes basically.
Yeah.
I thought that was because there were bullets come from the depository and the grassy
knoll. Yes, but there is a thought that it came from the Secret Service.
Did they check the agent's guns
from behind?
So here's
if any shots were fired.
So break it down.
So I'm going to break it down. Okay, so let's
get ready, Brendan.
This
is a great shirt to wear.
I love
today.
this shirt. Oh, isn't it?
Yeah. What's it? I can't see it.
It says Wander More, and it's like a van with some shit in it.
Oh, cool. I like it. Okay.
It's cute.
So the story as we know it is that I was going to say John Wilkes Booth.
Take it all the way back. We should do the assassination of Lincoln.
So the theory as we know it is that Lee Harvey Oswald took Kennedy out from the 6th floor of the Texas school book depository where he worked. So we all know he had access to it. He was very able to be there. I'm sure he was very aware of the events that were going to take place. Like, he was already being investigated and watched. So, you know, there were ties that he had to Russia. I mean, his wife, you know.
Was he being like investigated and watched, or was he working with the CIA?
I mean, I believe he was a patsy. I don't want to say a sleeper cell, so to speak. I kind of think that he was brainwashed into it. So, like, he knew what he was doing, but maybe it wasn't necessarily...
He was like a double agent for the KGB.
It was like over time. Like, it wasn't just like okay, I'm back from Russia and I'm going to assassinate JFK. It was like he met with people that, you know, were involved in maybe the KGB or, you know, or something like that. But at any rate, that's the story that's accepted, that he was
communist, Marxist.
Yeah, communist.
Well, he said that in an interview that he's not a communist, but he's a Marxist-Leninist, which is
yeah, he's a huge Marxist, and that's scary for other reasons.
I'm just saying it's like a kind of like communism, but like it's like a lighter.
Yeah.
Diet.
Yeah.
Communism.
Did you say diet communism?
They have their disagreements, you know, communists and Marxists.
At any rate,
it's neither here or there though for this topic.
45 minutes later, he was arrested, right? In a movie theater, and he had killed a police officer allegedly.
I know what is up with that. Like,
and he knew the police officer too.
Yeah, and like how much like it doesn't make any sense. Like, why would he go and immediately kill a police officer right after this?
Well, then
there's several potential explanations. Allegedly, if he actually did it.
Let's get into it. What are we doing first?
Yeah.
What's going on? I feel like we need one of those boards with string, with yarn.
Yeah.
Get all Glenn back up in here.
Yeah.
So I'm just recapping the events as we know them. So this happened immediately following. Like, he was arrested. He had killed a police officer. 2 days later, Jack Ruby shoots and kills him in a parking lot. All right. And
on
then
TV.
Yeah, at the police station or the courthouse. Police station.
But I think it was like an underground parking lot of the police station.
Yeah.
So then Earl Warren is appointed by Johnson after suspicions arise about...
Who's Earl Warren?
Earl Warren, the Warren Commission.
Right. But who was he?
He's a justice.
He was his Chief Justice of the Supreme Court?
Yeah, he was the Supreme Court Justice.
Yes.
Yeah, he did not want to do that.
No.
He did a great job.
He did not want to do that. Well, he didn't want to do it. He was like, I think that this is like not right. Like, I'm not the right person to do this. This is like,
yeah,
I don't want to do it. And LBJ was like, well,
you have to.
Yeah.
It took them 10 months to complete it, right? And there was almost 600 witnesses testified. It was almost a 900-page report, and it was released to the public. And the funny thing about the Warren Commission is that, and here's where I believe that the Secret Servicemen did it, is that people on the ground smelled gunpowder. Are you going to smell gunpowder from a rifle that is 6 feet in the air when the wind speed is only 15 miles an hour? And hold on, I wrote it down. Let me reference my note. So the gun that he had was an assault AR-15, right? No?
Oswald?
Yeah.
No, it was a Italian Carcano.
Was it Italian?
Well, allegedly.
Allegedly.
So there's another thing. The officer who found the gun first reported that it was a German
Mannlicher.
Mannlicher.
And then in the
Man
reports
liquor.
later on,
It's called
it
a
was changed to a
Mannlicher.
Carcano because that's the gun that Lee Harvey Oswald was known to own.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
Okay.
discrepancy there, and that was never explained.
Okay, so the wind was blowing 15 miles an hour towards the book depository, and several witnesses recall smelling gunpowder. The Warren Commission concludes no Secret Servicemen fired weapons. However, there was also several witnesses that saw this man, the Secret Serviceman, come from the follow-up car that was standing with a rifle or some type of gun in his hand and then sat back down. So, I mean, they went into it as far as in 1967, CBS, they tested the findings of the Warren Commission. They said, we want to see if this is actually possible. Because at this point, you know, even though the commission was out, that the documents are public knowledge, there was still skepticism.
Well, they wanted to test it out. What they wanted to test out the magic bullet theory, or what are they testing?
So Lee Harvey Oswald shot 3 rounds in 5.6 seconds. They wanted to
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I love Brendan being like, allegedly. Thank you.
This was never proven in a court of law.
So what they wanted to see
From
if
above
actually,
and from behind.
if it was actually possible, right? So 11 marksmen had tried to do it, and they used the same weapon. And Howard Donahue was one of the people who did it, and he did it. He was the one guy who did it in 5.2 seconds.
Yeah, there was only one dude
Yeah.
who was able to do it, right?
Yeah. So this is the guy that came up with this theory about the Secret Servicemen, and he spent decades, doing research. He even made skulls and the bullet. He traced the bullet with like dowels. He wrote a book. Like he did some crazy shit. But CBS concluded that after 3 tries, Donahue doing it, he said it's plausible to do, so that it would have been possible for Oswald to kill the president from the book depository 6th floor. However, Donahue says that's not what happened, that the Secret Servicemen, when the first shot fired, that very well could have been and likely was Oswald, the one that actually went through his neck, collarbone area, and then also hit Governor Connolly, not Connolly. Connolly. So that's when the Secret Serviceman stood up, grabbed the gun. Now, the head of the Secret Service tells the Warren Commission, I'm sorry if I'm ranting, and please jump in if you feel the need.
No, you're not ranting.
You're good.
You're telling a riveting tale.
And
right
then,
now.
okay, hold on to your wigs and keys. It's about to get interesting. The head of the Secret Service says to the Warren Commission, yeah, there's a gun. It's ready to go. And it's under the seat of the follow-up car just in case,
just in case shit pops off.
Yeah. All he would have had to do was pop the safety off.
Well, it's pretty plausible that in the chaos of realizing that JFK has been shot, he grabs the gun, whips it out, and is
Right.
getting ready to defend him and accidentally shoots him.
It's plausible.
That could happen.
That could happen.
That could happen.
11 witnesses testified that it did.
That they saw him do it? That they saw him pull the trig?
Well,
They saw him pull his gun out.
Mention of this gun and thinking that it could have been fired. So they're claiming that Agent Hickey, who was with the Secret Service, had done this. So a couple of things that could disprove my theory, well, it's not my theory, but the theory that I feel is most relevant, is that the Secret Service had actually been out drinking the night before. Mm-hmm. Now, Agent Hickey, the guy who was said to have accidentally done this, wasn't one of those agents. However, some of their testimony could have been compromised because of what did or didn't happen the night before.
Right. Yeah, they were drinking the night before. And what was also interesting is the drivers of Kenny's car, the way they reacted wasn't the way they were trained. Like the driver came to almost a complete stop,
down.
which is the opposite. Like they're trained to like immediately just like take off. And then the guy in the front passenger seat is supposed to like use his body to protect the president, and he didn't even move.
So another thing too is that
that's fucking suspicious. Yeah. That's suspicious,
right?
And then the people in Johnson's car, they reacted correctly.
That's because fucking LBJ, the snake in the grass that he is, could be behind this whole fucking thing.
I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not, but you got to think about it too.
I'm not saying he did it, but I'm not saying that he didn't do it. You can't prove that he's innocent.
There was a lot of things that got messed up when they got to Parkland as well.
Yeah.
That's fucking bananas.
So there was so much shit that went awry from basically, so they wanted to take, after they got the president there and, he was pronounced dead.
Wait, walk me through it. So, hold up. Where did we leave off? So I don't think that, so we talked.
The first shot.
We got first shot, second shot.
Blows Kenny's head off. Was it the second shot or the third shot?
I think it was the
second shot misses. First shot.
So then
first
the
shot
hits
hits
the one.
Second shot misses. Third shot is the headshot.
Right.
And that's the shot that fucks up Conley too.
Yeah.
You got to consider also that people aren't going to smell gunpowder unless they're going to be upwind of it, right?
Right.
So that really concludes.
I don't know, man. Witness testimony doesn't really mean like dick shit to me, honestly. Like
even some cops there smelled it.
Witnesses are so unreliable, though. You know what I mean?
They are.
They're classically unreliable.
One witness is unreliable, but a bunch of witnesses all saying some similar to that.
Roughly 11 witnesses said that they saw what they appeared to be a Secret Service agent holding what looked like to be a semi-automatic rifle.
Well, they carried semi-automatic rifles.
Right.
That's their service weapon.
Yeah, their service weapon.
But see, the bullet that actually killed Kennedy, it's the same that's used in AR-15s that rupture and kill. So these are the bullets that actually go in and
right.
Yeah, they explode, right?
Right. So it wouldn't have been consistent use with the rifle that Oswald had, the Carcano. It would have been something that allegedly.
Allegedly.
Brendan, I'm gonna make a meme of you, and it's just gonna be your face, and it's gonna just say allegedly.
Allegedly.
I'm doing it. Use your likeness. You can sue me if you want.
I love it.
But okay, so yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, there's only one photo of Agent Hickey in the car, but he was 4 cars behind the president. I'm sorry, I thought he was the immediate follow-up car. He wasn't. He was 4 cars. So Donahue, the guy who actually makes it with the CBS test, he concludes that there's going to be a second shooter, and that second shooter is the Secret Serviceman. So Oswald tried, but he didn't succeed. So the actual fatal wound came from Agent, I believe it's George Hickey.
I gotta say, Chelsea Fox, I'm shocked that this is the theory that you subscribe to.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought you would have gone way further down the rabbit hole and been like, no, this shit was planned. Like, they wanted to fucking kill him.
Well, I could do, I mean, how much time do you have? You know what I mean?
This is the podcast that we're doing a whole podcast about this. I don't know if it was unclear to you in our previous correspondence, but that's the topic of the episode.
Let's talk about the fact that, I mean, how far do you want to go back?
Well, let's talk about the grassy knoll.
Let's talk about the grassy knoll.
Let's talk
Brendan,
about
why don't you-
fucking Joe Kennedy.
That's
Her dad.
further back than that. I want to go back to Jackie Bouvier before she was Jackie Kennedy.
Jackie Bouvier?
Jackie
Love that bitch.
Bouvier, the debutante.
Oh my god! All right.
Okay, so Brendan, go ahead. Take us on a tour of the grassy knoll, my friend.
You just fucking laid up this whole thing about Jackie Bouvier.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm gonna have Tom put on some tea. We're gonna make it.
All right, let's do it. All right,
Let's
the
do
grassy
it.
knoll.
I'm ready.
All right, so the grassy knoll. It's just like a little hill, right? Grassy,
yeah.
hilly area across the street from the Texas School Book Depository.
Yes. So if you're like looking at it from an aerial view,
Right.
if it's like a triangle, you have School Book Depository at one end of the triangle, grassy knoll at the other end of the triangle, and then the overpass is over here at the tip of the triangle.
Right.
Is that visual enough?
Yes.
Googling.
That was good. That was
area.
helpful, listeners.
Yeah, well, because it's hard to like when you're like visual aids are really helpful.
Yeah.
When you're talking about this.
So I'm looking at a picture of the grassy knoll, and I mean a couple of pictures, and it's kind of like a hill, like you were saying.
Yeah. There's a fence.
It's like grassy.
And beyond the fence,
and
it's
then
a
it's a
parking
rail
lot
road.
for a rail yard.
Yeah.
So witnesses are split about where they heard the shots come from. Half say the grassy knoll, half say the depository, roughly. It's split. Cops that were stationed on the grassy knoll also smell gunpowder, which would make sense if shots came from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that's interesting is the Zapruder film was filmed from the grassy knoll. The less well-known film, do you know the name of it?
Yeah.
You gotta look that up. That was taken by the depository looking at the grassy knoll. That's where allegedly people see like shadows moving along the fence during the execution.
Where was the Umbrella Man?
Oh, the Umbrella Man. Wasn't he on the grassy knoll?
Yes.
Yeah, he was on the grassy knoll too.
A lot of people think that the Umbrella Man was like a signal.
A signal? I don't know. I heard that wasn't the Umbrella Man just like a dude who wanted to fucking heckle Kennedy?
I don't know. That I'm not sure.
Let's see.
Yeah, but the JFK movie, wow, some of these photos are really difficult to look at.
Yeah.
The JFK movie, I think, is really, really good. And I think that it's the whatchamacallit documentary that I watched. Kat, I told you what the name of it. The Smoking Gun. Where this Australian guy, he was like a award-winning like detective in Australia for like 18 years. He decided he wanted to take on this theory with George Donahue. But I don't know that it's necessarily the only plausible theory. I definitely think that there could have been something coming from the grassy knoll. You also have to think.
Absolutely. What was that fucking guy's name who said that he did it? Who said that he shot the shot?
Oh.
The mob guy. That dude was obviously a patsy. He was already in jail.
He was already in jail? Then he couldn't have done it.
No, I mean like he was already in jail.
He had been in jail previously.
Oh.
Not the guy who shot Oswald.
No, that was Jack Ruby.
That was Jack Ruby. He was in the mafia too.
James Files.
That's who it was, yeah.
Yeah, so James Files, he was like, he had connections to the mafia, and he said that the mafia hired him and his homie to assassinate JFK. And he said the CIA was in on it at first, but that they like pulled the plug, they canceled it. They were like, don't go through with it, abort the mission. And the mafia was like, fuck that, we're still gonna do it.
I think you have to consider the acoustics too. You know what I mean?
What the fuck does that mean?
The acoustics of the area. I mean, look at the grassy knoll. Look at the area before the underpass, you know? think of a gunshot coming from the grassy knoll. It's gonna sound like it's coming from the book depository. The book depository was one of the tallest buildings in the plaza. I think it was the tallest.
Well, yeah, I think that's why I feel like it's to say like where
It's difficult.
like audio wise where the shot came from, you
Sure.
can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't
No.
do that, especially outside.
But like logistically speaking, yeah, the book depository would have been probably the best. And seemingly, I mean, he
But
hit his mark.
Chelsea Potts, come on now, what the fuck? If you're in the book depository and you're trying to line up a shot, you have a perfect fucking shot coming all the way up the fucking road this way. Why would you wait until
He's in front of you.
he's in front of you and you have all this shit in your way and you got to line it up perfectly?
Because you got
Like,
especially with that gun.
What?
You got to be parallel with the building otherwise.
What? No, he had
No.
coming all the way, like
Yeah.
on the other
Just
side of the
way
building.
earlier.
Just like on the other side of the building, he had like a much clearer, easier shot. The only reason, like logistically, really, why you would want to wait it out until he's at that point is if you're trying to like fucking triangulate your shots with another fucking dude on the grassy knoll.
Yep.
Who's the guy? Who is it? Who's the second shooter?
Who's the second shooter? Who knows?
So you guys know about the guy who went to the train station said he saw a car with multiple men at the fence line at the time of the assassination.
Mhm.
And afterwards,
right?
someone said that they heard shots come from that area, and a Dallas police officer went back there to investigate and said that there was a guy there, and he pulled his gun at him, but he gave him Secret Service credentials.
Mhm. Yeah, there were several witnesses who said that they were being told by people who were identifying themselves as Secret Service agents to get away from the area.
But the Secret Service said they didn't have anyone back there.
They were like, "No, that wasn't us.
Everyone was accounted for.
That wasn't us."
See, well, again, I mean, there's
James Files says that that's where he was standing when
Yeah.
he shot JFK. But he came forward and he said, "I did it." But he was already in jail when he came forward and when he like
Right. He was in jail for something else.
Yeah, he was in jail for
Yeah.
some other shit. And his coming forward also was like, it was like very convenient, like for the government, really, because he was like, I did it at the behest of the mafia.
Mhm.
The CIA attempted to stop me, and we did it, even though they didn't want us to do it. So he like completely clears. It's a little convenient.
That doesn't clear the CIA.
No.
Like, oh, we're gonna think about killing the president.
We already thought about doing it.
maybe not.
And then we said, never mind.
But
We
that
don't think
doesn't hold
about
this history.
Oh my
Like,
God.
what happened?
Because you were leaning forward.
Oh, did I hit that?
No, it was just really loud 1 second.
I'm sorry.
It scared me.
But think about it. Why wouldn't the government want to take out the Kennedys? His brother too. You know what I mean?
Oh, the
His
CIA
brother
hated
even-
them.
Yeah, the CIA fucking hated both of them.
Yeah.
Well, they hated Kennedy for what? For the fucking...
The Bay of Pigs.
For the Bay of
he was,
Pigs.
quote unquote,
For-
soft on communism.
He was soft on... They thought he was like a liberal softie, soft on communism.
He didn't want to go into Vietnam.
Yeah, he was anti-Vietnam, adamantly anti-Vietnam.
A lot of people were.
Well, we weren't in Vietnam yet.
Well, we were, but not in a big way.
Not as much
The
as
CIA wanted to go like full in.
full in.
Support, like
no,
at
this
that
is a
point.
mistake. It's unwinnable.
He failed to
said that.
provide air cover during the Bay of Pigs invasion. And he was unwilling to invade Cuba during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The CIA was just like, fuck this asshole.
Yeah.
He's really making our life pretty shitty. And also, he wanted to provide like a lot more checks and balances for the CIA. Like, he wanted the CIA to be held a lot more accountable because they were like notoriously not.
Killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely some wrong.
Well, the Castro thing, like, it came out that the CIA was involved in a plot to assassinate Castro. and nobody, and like the government, like it wasn't public knowledge. Like it was like a secret operation that a lot of people didn't agree with, and that didn't align with like the US's official stance.
I feel like the government does unofficial shit like all the time. The enhanced interrogation tactics of
well, yeah, absolutely, but it was just like it was like freshly, like it was like a fresh issue.
Yeah,
it was like the first time people were like, what's up with the CIA?
Yeah.
They were taking a lot of liberties, and JFK was like, not on my watch.
So this guy McLaren, right? He's the guy that's investigating this, the Australian guy. He's saying that he's found testimony that supports Donahue's theory. George Donahue, the guy that was like, hey, I'm, telling you that the Secret Service guy did it. But the Secret Service covered it up. You guys said it yourself. They were telling Secret Service people were telling people to leave, to get out of there.
People who were pretending to be Secret Service, at least.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that there were multiple shooters. I don't think it was just 2 or 3. I mean, come on, we're in Dallas. We're in Texas.
I thought that you said that it was a Secret Service person. Now you're saying there's 2 or 3?
Now, hear me out on this. The more that
She's a flip-flopper!
Changing your mind.
I flip-flop. I definitely...
Fucking John Kerry over here.
So I definitely think that the Secret Serviceman accidentally took him out. I definitely think that Lee Harvey Oswald hit him through like the neck, the collarbone that got Governor Connolly. But I don't know. I mean, there could have been another shot that didn't hit him. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. It was chaos. People don't know what happened. Eyewitness testimony is like you're taking your chances. It's 50-50. So there's that. There's the guys behind the fence. There's the grassy knoll. What about the overpass? Some people say that there was something came from the overpass. I didn't find too much on that though.
Yeah, neither did I. That's a pretty marginal one.
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. I don't know.
You're not feeling it? You don't think the Secret Service did it?
I don't think it was, I mean, like, the accident thing is, like, you're kind of wrapping it in a little bit of a pretty bow and making it, like, quite a big coincidence that they all just, like, agreed to, like, completely sweep under the rug, like, to save face for this one fucking dude.
And, like, got convicted or
just for
I mean, because, like, people were so in disbelief about that because the Warren Commission contradicted everything that the media had reported on the incident, right? Like when people were watching
with the witnesses,
like when like the news was reporting what happened, witnesses were saying shots came from over here and they came from over here,
right? And
like that's how they reported it happened. And the Warren Commission came out and completely contradicted that and was like, no, they all came from the same direction. So it immediately sounded like bullshit to people.
Well, that day, Hoover, the head of the FBI, said Oswald was the only shooter before anyone was even asking if there was a conspiracy. There's like no investigation yet.
Listen,
and we all knew what a scumbag Hoover was.
Fucking suspicious as hell.
Of course he is.
He is so suspicious. He hated JFK. He had a meeting with JFK where he basically was like, yeah, listen, I have a really weird thing about people's sexual lives, and so I become obsessed with them because I'm really, not okay with my own sexuality, and I know all about your affairs, your extramarital affairs, and I just want you to know that, like, you should know that I know, and know that I'm not telling anybody right now. And JFK was like, oh, word? You're a fucking psycho, bro. Everybody else knows about it too, and they're all way cooler than you are.
Here's what I have to say about that, okay? Jackie did it too. They both knew what the relationship was. It was a political
marriage.
Yeah, it was the political image. It was the fairy tale. It was American royalty, at the time.
But it's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's like nobody's business. Like, who fucking cares? And like, get over it.
Get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, get over it.
The assassination?
No.
Him swinging his dick around.
Swing his dick around.
Anyway, I don't think anything came from the grassy knoll.
Why not?
What?
Where? Just a guy chilling in a field? Like, he's just chilling on a piece of grass. Like, there's other
No,
people
he's
around.
behind the fence.
Is what
He's
you're saying.
behind the fence. Yeah, there's bushes and trees.
Come on,
so it's like
Chelsea
shaded.
Butts. It's
You
a
can
grassy
see 'em.
knoll, man.
Okay.
Everyone's paying attention to it because they're all watching Kenny.
But weren't there shell casings? Cigarette butts. There were cigarette butts behind
Cigarette
the
butts,
fence.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tons
And
of
footprints.
fucking cigarette
And
butts.
footprints.
Footprints. The works.
There was the worker who saw guys there.
Yeah, there could have been fucking shell casings. And the dudes cleaned them up after they kicked everybody out of the fucking knoll. Secret Service, clear the area, man.
Clear this knoll.
You're going to have to clear the area.
They were gone before the Secret Service even got there.
Probably.
Do you think it was the Secret Service?
No, I don't think they. I think their security was lax.
Yeah,
You know,
they were all hungover. I
maybe
mean,
he would have been alive if the driver sped off right away and the other guy used his bike to protect
I think
them.
it was the CIA.
Yeah.
I think it was the CIA. I think the CIA killed JFK. I don't think it was an accident from the Secret Service guy. I think the CIA actively assassinated him.
so you think what's his face? Lee Harvey Oswald was like a sleeper cell?
I think it's a patsy.
I think it was a patsy, yeah.
Yeah.
You always be talking about sleeper cells, Chelsea Potts. No, I don't think he was.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even think he pulled the trigger.
You think he pulled the trigger?
I don't think he did.
I don't know. He might not have, yeah.
So you think there was more than one person in the book depository?
Yep.
Ooh, the plot thickens. Why do you say that?
Well, Lee Harvey Oswald seemed to believe they didn't do it.
It's pretty fucking convenient that like Lee Harvey Oswald got assassinated before we ever got to hear his testimony on the situation. Like, we never get to hear his testimony because they were like, we can't chance it.
Yeah.
Like, we can't chance that he's gonna fucking do what we want him to do or say what we want him to say. He's already yelling at the press. You know what I mean? He's already like, I'm a patsy. Yeah. They're not letting me have a lawyer. Like, he's making a lot of fucking noise. Just kill him.
I'm sure he didn't really get what he was promised either. You know what I mean?
I don't think he was promised anything. I think he was set to take the fall.
Yeah, I think that he was probably special ops. I think
he was in the military.
Yeah, he was in the military.
He was So here's this. He was in the Marines during World War II, and during training, he had the worst sharpshooter score in his group. Like, he barely passed.
Yeah,
barely
he sucked.
passed.
He sucked.
So for him to do that shot with that gun, which was notoriously inaccurate and slow and hard to fire.
Yeah.
At a moving target. I don't know.
There's a lot of adrenaline going.
Also, why would you take the shot from that angle? You had such a better angle for the 10 minutes fucking prior to this. You waited until he was in the most inopportune spot for you to take the shot. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And so, yeah, I think that he was a patsy. You know, he was a Marine. He had he obviously, they were using him probably against the KGB or whatever, because he studied Marxism while he was in the Marines, right?
He studied Russian.
He studied Russian. So he also studied Marxism, right? And he identified as a Marxist.
He did in an interview. I don't know how much of that is part of it.
No. You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of JFK studied Marxism in school.
Oh, a lot of people did back then.
I know.
Studied Marxism?
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Oswald studied Russian.
Yeah, he learned
JFK
the Marines. He was in military. How do I say that? Military intelligence. Military intelligence. That's where he learned Russian, and he was sent to Russia by the CIA
by the CIA, and he like defected, right? Like supposedly.
Well,
and then he came back.
This is the thing. The CIA did fake defections back then.
Yeah, they did.
Right.
And so, like, obviously, I feel like they told him to come because it was real weird that he came back, right? Like, he came back and he was like immediately let through.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they said that there was like this like perfect storm of like clerical errors for why him and his wife were like allowed back into the country,
right?
Even though it was like on paper that he defected to Russia,
right?
And they had a baby.
Yeah, and they all were let into the United States, like no fucking.
Well, yeah, the CIA
asked.
can push that through. They'll call
the
State Department,
exactly.
Hey, this is our guy. He didn't really defect. He was on a mission.
Yeah, so it's obvious that he's working for the CIA.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's working for the CIA.
Right.
So, like, you know, he probably doesn't even know what the fuck is going on. He's told to come back here and live his fucking life. He's picking up some fucking flyers for the local, whatever the fuck, doing some bullshit things, working at the book depository. He doesn't even know what the fuck is going on. Next thing he knows, he's getting arrested. JFK's been shot. And he's like, oh, fuck. This is it. They're blaming me for this shit because I was in Russia, and they're going to be able to really easily prove that, like, I'm a communist.
It's very coincidental.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Very convenient.
Super fucking convenient. Yeah, why wouldn't they?
And the government, I mean, there were so many things with the autopsy. Like, first of all, let's talk about the fact that there was like 30 plus people in the room while they were like trying to
complete the autopsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
there were people. So James Humes, he was the head pathologist, and he did. Am I jumping ahead? I'm sorry.
No, Chelsea Potts, please fucking continue. Don't second guess yourself for one single moment of your life.
You're a beautiful, majestic mermaid in a sea of shrimp, and you.
It's okay. Let's just do the podcast.
Okay. Where was I? Okay. J. Edgar Hoover, our buddy.
J. Edgar Hoover, fucking dick.
He orders 2 FBI agents to stay with JFK until the embalming is taken place, right? So what they conclude here is that basic forensic practices are ignored, right? So Humes concludes that the headshot was in the back of the head, and it was 130 millimeters in diameter, and it was the result of that exploding bullet, right?
Right.
So we know that based on that logic, based on what that finding would be, Lee Harvey Oswald did not or couldn't have taken the fatal shot.
No, because it would have had to come from the back, right?
No, but the bullet, the gun
exploded.
The gun that Lee Harvey Oswald used weren't used in that gun.
Right.
They were used in typically an AR-15.
Oh, so I got you. You're saying that the exploding bullets.
Right.
The guns that they found in Kennedy didn't come from the allegedly gun that Oswald used. What was it?
So the one that penetrated through his lower neck.
I know. I can't even this is such a heavy topic.
It is.
It's so
this
sad.
is such a heavy topic. I feel like, holy Jesus.
Right? Like during the funeral when what's his son's name?
JFK Jr.
JFK Jr.
Oh, when he salutes him.
It's so sad.
I know. It is so sad. Like, they did this dude dirty. They really did. So dirty.
Jackie refusing to take her bloody dress off.
You know what they should have done? They should have immediately taken her dress off and her everything that had any type of matter on it and used it as evidence. But they didn't. There was
what would that have shown?
What's that?
What would that have shown?
I guess at the time forensics wasn't really like a thing. Like it could be today. But
not really, yeah, but they did saved evidence like that.
Right.
But it fucking disappeared.
A lot of evidence
A
disappeared.
lot of evidence disappeared, and some of the evidence that disappeared was like JFK's fucking brain.
Yeah, apparently,
You know,
someone said that his brother had asked for it.
allegedly.
So George Berkeley, who I believe was Hume's boss, had told Humes, the head pathologist, that Robert Kennedy had requested his brother's brain. And that was the last time anyone ever saw it. So I don't know what happened.
Well, now it sounds like Robert Kennedy stole his brother's brain.
And I mean, that's okay. It's his brother, you know?
Did he get the brain?
Did he ever get it? Do we know?
I don't know. See, the way they like gave the information, they kind of alluded to the fact that Berkeley took it and just kind of like either disposed of it or like sold it on the black market or, you know, something crazy like that.
That would be insane if he sold it.
On the black market? Absolutely.
It's just like sitting in his collection.
Genuine Kennedy brain.
So we now get to x-rays, right? We're now on the x-rays. So there's this guy named Custer. He's the x-ray tech. And he was told multiple times not to talk about the autopsy to anybody, right? Basically, what he's asked to do is take bullet fragments and put them in the x-rays, basically just to make it look like different than what it actually is.
So this dude, when did he come forward and say that he was told to fake this shit?
The Warren Commission, when he testified.
During the Warren Commission, he testified that he was told to lie. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he was told to lie to cover up the exploding bullet, and he signed gag orders. So a lot of people ended up signing gag orders for that. Photographers were sworn to secret oaths. All of their film was confiscated, whether it was used or not. If they had film on them while they were in the room, it was confiscated. So it was madness.
Madness, I tell you.
Madness.
That sounds strange.
You know, all of these people, think about it. I mean, photographers, reporters, surgeons, you know, technicians, nurses, Secret Servicemen, generals. It's absolute craziness. And here's the body of the President of the United States. It's just crazy. I mean, this guy, McLaren, says that he reviewed the Warren Commission and found that there was vital witnesses missing from the autopsy that were never called on, pivotal evidence that was disregarded. So, you know, I feel like this commission was really just kind of built upon what they thought sounded good. But that's just me.
You think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think the commission's goal was to prove that Oswald was the lone shooter instead of actually trying to get to the bottom of things. Just based on like how many witnesses they didn't interview.
Yeah, for sure.
Things they ignored.
Yeah, for sure. And even like
Very
the
shocking.
fact that it only took 10 months, you know?
I mean, that's a long time.
That's almost a year.
Yeah. I think a lot of people working on it.
But you have to think too.
I don't know how good of a judge
Okay.
I am. Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
What else JFK was involved in, right? Before like he got to where he was. I mean, he was involved in civil rights and not
He was involved in the mafia.
Yeah,
Hello.
he was involved.
JFK was?
Okay, well, so Joe Kennedy, Papa Kennedy.
He was a senator too, wasn't he?
Papa Kennedy?
Papa
Or JFK?
Papa Kennedy. He was he was an ambassador for the United Kingdom.
An ambassador.
Yeah.
An ambassador to the United Kingdom. Okay, cool. Joe Kennedy also had like very well documented ties to the Chicago Mafia. They were like thick as thieves.
Ah, I see.
And he was like, listen, if you get my boy elected, then, you know, you'll have a friend in the White House, basically.
So the mob took him out?
Well, they were not pleased with the job that he was doing, and they were especially not pleased with Bobby Kennedy.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Because he was like
He was locking them
he was
up.
taking down the mafia.
well, yeah, because he was all about the organized crime syndicates
Mm-hmm.
and taking them down.
Yeah, exactly. So the mafia felt like you guys fucking reneged on your shit and we don't like you anymore.
But was Bobby involved in that deal, or was it just Joe?
I don't know. I mean, isn't that that's kind of a pretty fucking shitty, sneaky deal?
This family just
Sort
has bad
of.
luck in life in general. I
Say
mean,
what?
in life in general, this family just has bad luck.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, I think.
What were you
I mean-
talking about Jackie Bouvier before?
Yeah, right?
You made like such a dramatic thing. And then it was like, you forget. You thought we were going to fucking forget about it?
Yep, I did. So no, Jackie Kennedy. I mean, she was primed and primed to be a lady of wealth and stature and marry a powerful and rich man.
Well, she married two people, like she married two dudes who were both in Illuminati families, the 12 families, right? The 13
The Kennedys
the-
and the
the 13 bloodlines.
Onassis.
The Kennedys and the Onassis.
Yep.
The Onassis.
Wow.
Yeah, the Onassis, he was a lot older than she was, I think, or at least he looked a lot older.
He was older. Yeah.
He
Had
wasn't.
a lot of money.
He was not handsome, but he was very rich.
So I watched this documentary about her and her sister, and her younger sister like beat her to the altar. Like this was back in a time where like you had to be married at 25 and like become a housewife, and you like went to a debutante ball to be presented. Like, you know,
If you were 30 and you weren't married, then you were like a fucking spinster.
yeah, like there was something wrong with you. So they didn't get married, I think, until Jackie was like, or no, he was 35. And he kind of like, you know, had his moments with like different women or whatever. But apparently, like after everything happened, you know, they were married for, I guess, 7 years before he became president. You know, they liked each other, but it was a very political marriage. It was, she knew how to act and people liked her, and he knew how to act and people liked him, and just worked really well together in public, you know.
Were they arranged?
I don't know if it was arranged. I forget how they met. I apologize. I was watching it like in between working and things, so I didn't pause. I just kind of let it play.
This is a documentary?
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a documentary. It's called Jackie, a Tale of Two Sisters, I think, is what it's called. Yeah, her sister doesn't look like anything like her. It's really weird. But anyway, yeah, so apparently Onassis was into her younger sister like years before her, like when she was married to Kennedy, which is kind of weird, but whatever. I guess that's fine.
That is weird, and it is kind of like
European, right?
European. That's not what I was gonna say. No.
Wait, what's weird?
I was gonna say like it's kind of like how they used to do it in like the monarchies and stuff like that. Like
cousins to keep the bloodline.
Like he's like a prince or something. Like he wanted the younger sister, but he like eventually settled for the older sister years later. That's like what happened to Marie Antoinette.
Was it?
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you know, it was kind of a match made in political heaven, and unfortunately his time was cut short. But I think that, I don't know, I really think that the Secret Service guy did it. I mean,
You think it was an accident? You think it was just like a horrible accident and they covered it all up just to save that dude's ass?
But let me say this, like, we don't know if, let's say he never got that third shot. Let's say it was just through the collar, you know, this area. Would he still have survived that even?
I don't know.
Do we know that? Or would he have been paralyzed?
I think that was a survivable shot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he was
The headshot's what killed.
Yeah, he was gone probably before he even got to Parkland.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Like his head brains were blown out.
Yeah.
All over the car.
Yeah.
Jackie Kennedy, like
Yeah.
going back to try to like get them
Yeah.
off the edge of
that
the
was
car.
pick his skull up. Like
That
he was dead instantly.
Fucking wild.
well, how do you react? Like, you know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean? Like that was probably
It's
like,
just
a
like
knee-jerk
it's just like
reaction.
a very like sad thing
Yeah.
like to look at.
Absolutely. And I kind of feel like in the back of her mind, she knew that there was a mark on her husband's head for a lot of reasons, for the Russian thing, for the communism, for the Cuban Missile Crisis, for the Bay of Pigs.
Yep. Well, there was another threat against his life a little earlier in Chicago. He canceled a trip.
Really?
Yeah, they found some mafia guys
Hmm.
in like a motel room with a bunch of guns, a map of the route that he was supposed to take, and they saw the guns in the map and called the FBI.
And he said he had like made a comment about how easy it would be to assassinate the president.
Mhm.
It was really easy to do that back in the day because there was like little to no security in public events and public areas. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Well, he had a lot of security personally, but
Yeah, but he still
it wasn't like it is today.
Yeah.
And it was like he was not supposed to be. It was against protocol for him to be in a convertible, just
Yeah.
like waving at people.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine what things would be like if he were still alive, if his brother were still alive. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
a
I
rare
wonder what.
assassination. That's real fishy.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like every president's gonna have their dirt. You know, like even as a person, you're gonna have your dirt.
No, they killed him. They for sure killed him.
But I'm saying,
Like that's where the words conspiracy theorist really like came from.
absolutely.
They like manufactured this story, sent it all over to like all the fucking media, and told them that like if anybody starts saying that some other shit happened, call them a conspiracy theorist. Any other scenario other than the one that we have approved of, please consider a conspiracy theory.
That's not right.
It's a cover up, man.
It's a fucking cover up.
It's the man.
How you
Cover
do it?
up.
The man trying to bring us down again. Why can't we know the truth? Why?
Because they did it. What would happen if they admitted it?
They admitted to testing people in MK Ultra. They were like, yeah.
Yeah, this is way worse though.
This
Who
is
cares
worse.
about some drug addicts and prostitutes that you give more drugs and do some experiments on?
Who cares about these?
Nobody cares about
Nobody cares.
sluts.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say that the president was a slut, but
I mean, he would have been the first or the last.
he definitely had his extramarital, allegedly.
There's nothing but sluts in the
Yeah.
government. The government is wall-to-wall sluts.
Sure. I mean, up, down, right, left, ceiling, floor, basement,
What's everywhere?
Sluts.
attic.
But you know what? I mean, that's true. It's true of any industry.
Yeah.
The
Hey.
Catholic Church, that's wall-to-wall sluts.
Humans are sluts.
That's steeple to basement sluts, is what that is.
Steeple basement. No, but what do you think would happen if the CIA was forced to admit?
That they killed
Yeah, we did
JFK. I definitely think they did it.
I think the only way that they would admit it is if they were like being disbanded.
Well, so what happened, right?
I feel like we covered that.
Fucking fuck you, Chelsea. Fuck.
For the past hour and a half.
You're such a dick. Oh, dude.
I think that we covered that.
I can Google it.
I think we covered that, bro.
Made it this far.
Pay attention, asshole.
You're not sure.
But
yeah.
Because they definitely committed perjury. That was proven.
Sure. Yeah, but
Oh,
then
yeah,
it's
for
like,
sure.
okay.
About the events of the investigation of the assassination.
Whatever happened to
Maurice
Jack Ruby?
Bishop.
Huh?
Hold on, we'll get to that.
Happened to who?
Jack Ruby.
He's in jail, or he died in jail.
I don't think he should have died in jail. I mean, he did murder someone. True that. But he was a bad someone. So he's kind of like a vigilante.
Fucking Chelsea Pie.
Allegedly.
You're always like playing judge and jury on this fucking podcast, Chelsea. You're constantly throwing down like real hot takes.
I'm just saying, I keep it fresh. Keep it fresh.
He deserved to die.
Well, hey, like I said, nobody's perfect, but like homie had some issues.
Jack Ruby?
No, Lee Harvey Oswald.
Lee Harvey Oswald?
What do you mean?
Like he wasn't like all there. Like who is just like, okay, I'm gonna kill the president.
If he did it.
Yeah,
I don't think he
like
did.
yeah, you're just like assuming that he didn't.
He didn't do it. But I'm
Was
saying
never proven in court. No one saw him do it.
it can't be. He was hiding 6 stories up.
He was found in the cafeteria immediately after the shooting.
No, I thought it was the movie theater.
No, immediately
At first,
after the
he was
shooting,
seen
yeah.
in the cafeteria.
He was seen in the cafeteria of the book depository building.
Like eating lunch.
Yeah, he was having a little snack, drinking a little soda.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
and the dude was like, they were
Everyone's-
searching the building, and he was like, oh, who's this guy? And they were like, oh, that's Lee Oswald, he works here. And they were like, okay. So if he had just assassinated the president, do you think he would have came down? And like, even if like he had like assassinated the president and he would have been like sweating, he would have been like breathing heavily. He would have had a gun to stash. Yeah, there's
He
no
would have taken
elevator.
the run down 6 flights of stairs.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Pretty fucking suspicious.
I feel
Doesn't sound plausible to me.
there might have been an elevator.
You feel like there might have been an elevator?
Thought there wasn't.
There's not.
I could be wrong.
Newsflash.
No elevator, not even a service elevator.
No.
There had to wait. There might have been an
Like a
elevator.
There might have been a service elevator. I don't know.
Something. That's
How
6
fast do you
stories.
think the service elevator in the
Google this.
1960s was?
Probably not very.
That's not a fast elevator.
No, not at all.
Probably makes a lot of noise.
Kathryn.
I thought I heard that there wasn't, but I could be wrong. Wait, so this is your favorite conspiracy, Soupy?
This is
Yeah.
just about us.
Yeah, this is my fave. I
How'd you get
mean,
into it?
really my mom. She really liked it. She was like 3 when it happened, so I don't really like understand how she understood any of JFK's policies. But, you know, I guess she just liked what he stood for.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a strong thing in my house. So, and then I learned about it in high school too, in like a social studies class. So it was like pretty neat to kind of like revisit that.
A lot of like the public's major distrust in what happened with JFK really came like after Nixon, right? Like that's when people started to get like a little stirred up about it.
Yeah, because Watergate.
People were stirred up about it then, even.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I'm
after
saying, like,
Nixon,
for,
like
like-
that and Nixon, that's
So
when
it
people
makes
really
sense that,
started
like-
to trust government.
yeah, I feel like it makes sense that like
Like,
Chelsea's
that's the
mom
origin of that.
would be like into it because by that time she would be like a teenager, right?
Yeah, like Vietnam and anti-government and anti-war, and
She'd be all like, "Fuck
Yeah.
the system. They
Yeah.
killed JFK."
put some flowers and some guns.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the CIA did it. You think the Secret Service did it by accident? Brendan, what do you think?
I think the CIA did it for sure.
Yeah.
Work with the mafia.
It could go a lot of different, and I'm sure there's tons of other theories out there about it. You could really go on for days, I feel like. But I see you guys have valid points.
Yeah, I especially think the CIA did it mostly because I for sure think that they killed Bobby Kennedy, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
That one.
smoked him.
That one.
Yeah.
And the number of people that showed up dead afterwards about that. Like people with their throats slit in public. Come on.
Yeah, like people were ruthless back in the 60s.
Yeah.
They would just like walk up on you and shoot you point blank.
If you
Yeah.
knew something, you had a target
Yeah.
on your head.
I don't know. All right. Well, let us know what your favorite conspiracy theory surrounding JFK is. And thank you guys so much for listening. As always, please remember to like and subscribe to our podcast on whatever you're listening.
And share.
And yeah, share it with your friends, or people who aren't your friends, even your enemies,
Your would-be assassins.
your would-be assassins, perhaps people you're thinking of assassinating.
We don't promote assassination in any.
We don't promote assassination. I'm just saying, like, whatever. I don't want to make any exclusions.
We include everyone.
Yeah.
Edit it thoroughly.
Yeah, please leave us a review if you can. If you want to. A positive review.
I feel like you have time.
A positive review.
Not negative.
Not negative. Although whatever. I mean, we'll take the feedback, I guess.
Any publicity is good publicity, right?
That's what they say, dude.
That's what they say.
All right, you crazy kids. I'm gonna eat some ice cream and go to bed.
All right, love
Enjoy.
you, Chelsea Potts.
I love you too, Brendan.
I love you too,
real.
CP.
I love you too. Have a good night. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
That was so much fun.